Your account shows no deposit today. But it's always here by now.
In the last 12 months, the Social Security Administration changed 3 rules about how your payment actually reaches you. 2 of them protect you. One of them can make an entire month's check disappear, not reduced, not delayed by some glitch, but gone, because the safety net underneath it was quietly switched off. If you get Social Security by direct deposit, and at this point, that's essentially all of you, at least one of these 3 rules already applies to your check. The agency isn't going to call and walk you through which one. There's no letter that says, this is the rule that gets you. You find out on payment day, staring at a balance that didn't move. I'm going to walk you through all 3 in order. And the one that carries the real risk isn't the one most people assume. Quick note, I'm not your advisor, and this isn't personal advice. It's the walkthrough that helps you catch this before payment day does. You might assume you're safe because you never change banks. Rule 1 still catches you through a merger you never chose. And if you barely touch SSA.gov, Rule 3 is the one that locks you out exactly when you need and fastest. If you haven't logged into your My Social Security account since before 2021, this rule is already about you. For years, you signed in with a username and password you picked yourself and never thought about again. That login is gone. As of June 2025, Social Security retired it completely. To get into your account now, to see your benefit statement, to change anything, you have to verify your identity through one of 2 outside services, login.gov or id.me. Around 46 million people set up their Social Security account before that cutoff. Out of roughly 69 million people who receive benefits altogether, that's close to 1 in 3 still possibly sitting on a login that no longer works. Nobody calls to tell you that. There's no expiration notice mailed to your address. You find out the way everyone finds out. You type in the password you've used for years, and the screen tells you it's wrong. Setting up the new login when everything lines up cleanly. Your address is current. Your name matches your records. You have a phone in your own name. Usually takes somewhere between 5 and 30 minutes. That's the version everyone assumes will happen to them. Here's the version that doesn't go that smoothly. If you've moved recently, if your name changed at some point, or the phone plan isn't in your name, the online verification can fail outright. At that point, your only path left is an in-person visit to a Social Security field office, and those offices have lost more than 7,000 staff positions this year. An appointment that used to take about a week to get can now take considerably longer, and that's before you've even started the wait in the lobby. On its own, that's an inconvenience. Here's where it turns into something worse. The day you actually need your account, because a payment looks short, because something changed, because you need to fix a problem fast, is the worst possible day to discover you're locked out and have to build a brand new verified identity from scratch on the clock, with an already stretched field office as your only backup plan. So the move here costs you 5 minutes today, not a multi-week ordeal on the day you're already stressed. Set up your login.gov or ID.me account now while nothing is wrong, so the door is already open the day you actually need to walk through it. This one, by itself, isn't the rule that empties your check. It's the rule that decides how fast you can fix it once something else goes wrong. And one of the next 2 is exactly that kind of problem. This next one touches anyone who's ever gotten a phone call claiming to be Social Security, or ever will. Until last year, changing the bank account your benefit goes to took up to 30 days to actually take effect. That sounds like bureaucratic slowness. It was also, without anyone designing it that way, a safety margin. If someone changed your account without your permission, there were 30 days for that change to get noticed and reversed before a payment actually moved. A family member glancing at a monthly statement had 3 full weeks to catch it before the money ever left. As of March 2025, that margin is gone. Social Security now runs every account change through a Treasury verification system and processes it in about 1 business day. Submit a legitimate change on a Tuesday, it's usually in place by Wednesday. Play that forward with bad intent instead of good. A scammer gets your information on a Monday phone call. The fraudulent change goes in that night. By Tuesday, it's verified and active. Your actual payment date might be that Friday, which means by the time you'd normally glance at a statement and notice something's off, the money has already been sent, received, and in most cases, moved again by whoever took it. Getting funds back out of a fraudulent account depends on the receiving bank cooperating, not on Social Security, and once it's been moved a second or third time, recovery is far from guaranteed. For you, the one-day change is a real improvement. Mistakes get fixed fast. For anyone trying to move your check somewhere it doesn't belong, it's the same improvement. A fraudulent change now clears about as fast as a legitimate one, because the system doesn't know the difference between the two. What used to be a month-long window to catch it is now closer to a single day. Here's what investigators are direct about. Social Security verifies account changes by mail or through your online account. It does not call you and ask for your routing number or account number to protect your payment. The phone is where this fraud lives, and it almost always runs the same 4 steps. Someone claims to be from the agency, invents an urgent problem with your benefit, pressures you with a short deadline, 24, 48 hours, and then asks for the number that unlocks your account. Real Social Security business doesn't arrive that way, on a clock, over the phone, asking you to hand over numbers. If that sequence ever starts on a call you didn't place, hang up and call the number already printed on a statement or card in your hand, never a number the caller gives you. Tell me in the comments, have you ever gotten a call like this? Judging by how often this scam gets reported, a lot of people watching right now have a story just like it. If you've switched banks in the last few years, or your bank got bought by a bigger one, which happens more often than most people realize, this is the rule to actually worry about. For as long as most of us remember, the government printed a check, sealed it in an envelope, and mailed it. If your bank information happened to be wrong, that check still showed up eventually. It was slow, but it was a backup. That backup is gone. Under Executive Order 12247, signed in 2025, the Treasury stopped issuing paper checks for federal benefits as of September 30th. Social Security is completing that transition this year. The reasoning is straightforward. The government's own numbers show a paper check is 16 times more likely to be lost, stolen, or never delivered than an electronic payment. 16 times isn't a small gap. It's the difference between an occasional headache and a real problem, and it's the number the whole policy was built around. But the effect for you is this: there is no longer a fallback if your direct deposit information is wrong, not slower, not delayed a few days. The payment simply has nowhere to go. I want you to meet a woman I'll call Ruth. 74, retired school teacher, the same Social Security payment landing in the same account for 11 years straight. Then her bank was bought out in a merger. New name, new app, same balance sitting in the same place, as far as she could tell. Nothing about her daily life changed. What she didn't know is that her old account number was quietly closed out in that merger, and nobody told Social Security. The routing information on file still pointed at an account that no longer existed. On payment day, nothing arrived, not late, not partial, nothing, because there was no paper check left to fall back on, and no one at Social Security had any reason to know her account had changed until she called to ask where her money was. Ruth didn't do anything wrong. She didn't miss a form or ignore a notice. The merger was legal, routine, and completely invisible to her, which is exactly the problem. It wasn't invisible to Social Security. To their system, her old account simply closed, and nothing ever told them where the new one was. This is the rule that actually empties a check, and the number attached to it is bigger than most people think. The average retired worker's benefit sits close to $1,900 a month, but a lot of married couples deposit both of their checks into the same joint account, which means one wrong routing number doesn't cost one benefit, it can cost both. Closer to $3,800, gone the day it's due, with no envelope in the mail to save you this time. So here's the one move that matters more than the other two combined, and it takes less time than the rest of this video. Log into your account and look at the direct deposit information Social Security has on file right now. Not what you assume it says, what it actually says. If you've changed banks, closed an account, or been through a merger in the last couple of years, assume it's wrong until you've confirmed otherwise. Here's the 5-minute version of everything we just covered, in the order that actually matters. First, and you already know this one, confirm the bank account Social Security has on file is the one you're actually using today, especially if you've switched banks or been through a merger in the last couple of years. Log into SSA.gov, go to your Benefits and Payments section, and look at the direct deposit details on screen. It shows your bank name and the last 4 digits of the account, enough to compare against your real bank statement without retyping anything you don't have to. Second, set up your login.gov or ID.me account now while everything is calm, so you're not building it from scratch in the middle of a problem. Have an email address, a phone number that can receive a text, and a photo of a driver's license or passport ready before you start. Most of the delay people run into is stopping partway through to go find a document they didn't realize they'd need. Third, know your actual payment date and write it down somewhere you'll see it. The schedule can shift a deposit by a day or two depending on your birth date, and knowing the real date keeps a normal delay from feeling like an emergency. Fourth, and this is the one most people skip, if a payment is late, give it 3 full business days before you do anything drastic. Payments are prepared in batches ahead of your actual pay date, so checking your balance the morning of rarely tells you anything real. Most delays under this new, faster system clear on their own within that window. Panicking and calling a number you found online is exactly the moment a scammer is hoping for. And fifth, if you do need to call Social Security, use only the number printed on a document you already have in your hand. A statement, a card, something with your name on it. Never a number a caller gives you over the phone, and never the first result in a search engine, which can be a spoofed listing built to look official. One more habit, and it costs nothing. If you have a spouse, an adult child, or a friend who helps you manage things, tell them which bank your payment goes to. And agree right now that if either of you ever gets a call claiming to be Social Security, you check with each other before doing anything. That one agreement shuts down most of this fraud before it ever gets started. If more than one of these 3 ever hits you at once, here's the order that actually matters, and where the real danger hides. Fix the bank account first. That's the one with no floor under it. Everything else is a delay or an inconvenience, but a wrong account is the one that goes to zero. Set up your login.gov or ID.me second, because it doesn't cost you anything today, but it decides how fast you can fix problem number 1 if it ever happens. Here's the version almost nobody thinks about until it's happening to them. Say you've switched banks in the last couple of years, and you also never got around to setting up login. Your payment doesn't arrive. Normally, the fix is simple. Log in, update the account, done in a day. But you can't log in, because Rule 3 already locked that door. So the 5-minute fix turns into a phone call, which turns into a field office appointment at an office that's already short 7,000 people. What should have taken an afternoon now takes weeks. And for those weeks, there's no payment coming and no paper check left to bridge the gap while you wait. The 2 smaller rules, stacked together, create the exact emergency the first rule warned you about. That's the whole reason to do this in order today, and not after something goes wrong. 2 of these 3 rules are working in your favor right now, quietly, without you doing anything. The third is only a problem for the people who never checked. And now you know exactly which one that is, and exactly what 5 minutes buys you.